When the power grid collapses, and experts say it's not if, it's when, you'll have less than 72 hours before society starts to unravel. No lights, no heat, no communication. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, over 90% of America's grid infrastructure is more than 25 years old, and extreme weather caused over 220 major blackouts in 2024 alone. The Department of Homeland Security flat out admits a long-term grid failure could displace tens of millions within a week, and yet most Americans don't even own a flashlight that works. Let that sink in. One solar flare, one cyber attack, one overloaded substation, and you're suddenly living in the 1800s. But the difference between panic and preparation is what's sitting on the shelves at Walmart right now. Not luxury gear, not overpriced prepper junk, just smart, simple items that'll keep you warm, fed and alive when the grid goes dark for good. So before the next outage hits, before the headlines scream widespread power failure, pay attention, because this countdown isn't theory, it's data-backed survival. And when the lights go out across America, the people who made this list their shopping list, they won't just survive, they'll run the night. Number 10. Butane lighters and refill cans. Everyone stockpiles candles. Few think about fire itself. Here's the cold truth. If the grid dies, fire becomes your number one renewable energy source. Walmart's butane lighters and refill cans are the single most efficient ignition tools for long-term blackout survival. Why? They're refillable, clean-burning, and nearly immune to moisture. The U.S. Fire Administration estimates over 80% of home heat sources fail within 48 hours of a power loss, but a single can of butane can refill a lighter 20-25 times. That's hundreds of fires, for cooking, boiling, sterilizing, or signaling. Unlike cheap disposable lighters, these maintain flame control, even in high-altitude or cold weather scenarios. Key when temperatures drop below 40 degrees and normal gas lighters sputter out. Butane burns at 2,500 degrees hot enough to melt thin aluminum or sterilize surgical tools. And because it vaporizes cleanly, there's no soot buildup on cookware. Keep one lighter sealed in a Ziploc with desiccant packs. Store refill cans upright in a cool, dry cabinet. Bonus: add a butane torch head and you've got a field soldering kit or emergency flame welder. Preppers in northern states swear by these during grid-down winters, because when the matches are soggy and the wind howls, flame on demand isn't a luxury. It's survival infrastructure. Buy 3. One for your pack, one for your kitchen, one buried in your car kit. Because in the blackout hierarchy, fire isn't comfort. It's civilization in your hand. Number 9. Collapsible water containers. You can survive weeks without food, but 3 days without water, and your body starts to shut down. Walmart sells collapsible water jugs and BPA-free hydration bladders that are literal lifelines when taps go dry. The average American uses 82 gallons of water daily, but in survival mode, you'll need just 1 gallon per person per day. Do the math. A family of 4 needs 28 gallons a week. That's why space-efficient containers matter. These fold-flat jugs expand to hold 5 gallons, resist punctures, and include spigots for controlled pouring. Crucial when rationing. During the Texas freeze of 2021, families without containers couldn't store melted snow or rainwater safely, leading to dehydration and contamination. These Walmart containers solve that with food-grade polymer that doesn't leach microplastics even in sun exposure. Verified by independent FDA compliance tests. Pro tip: pre-fill 2 before any storm warning and rotate every 90 days to keep plastic integrity. Fill others after grid collapse from collected or filtered water. And if you think water scarcity is a far-off worry, think again. The U.S. Drought Monitor reports 37% of the continental U.S. experienced moderate to severe drought last year. You're not stockpiling. You're ensuring hydration sovereignty. Pair with purification tablets and you've got a mobile water infrastructure. Collapse, store, refill, repeat. These aren't camping luxuries. They're liquid insurance policies that fit in your trunk. Don't rely on the faucet, own the source. Number 8. Solar pathway lights. You've seen them decorating suburban lawns, but during a blackout? Those $1 solar path lights from Walmart become silent power plants. Each unit holds a rechargeable 9-amp battery powered by a mini photovoltaic panel, meaning every night you get 8-10 hours of free light. No cords, no noise, no emissions. During Hurricane Ian, Neighborhoods that reused garden solar lights indoors maintained visibility for days without draining critical battery banks. Here's what people miss. These lights recharge even in cloudy weather, though at lower efficiency, about 60%. And their LED lifespan exceeds 10,000 hours, per DOE lighting data. Place 10 in a window box during the day. Bring them in at dusk. Instant lanterns. Group them in a bucket or jar for diffused room lighting. And since they use 1.2V rechargeable AA cells, you can rotate batteries between flashlights and radios, a hidden advantage most overlook. Wrap them in reflective foil to double output. Paint the stakes matte black for thermal gain. In a total blackout, these solar stakes transform from decor to distributed microgrid nodes. 1 yard's worth equals an off-grid lighting network. They're waterproof, EMP-proof, and kid-safe, meaning you can drop them, freeze them, dunk them, and they'll still work. Forget the fancy solar generators for a second. These are the grassroots version. $10 of lights equals freedom from darkness. You're not decorating, you're decentralizing light power. Number 7. Heavy-duty trash bags. This might sound boring until you realize trash bags are survival multipliers. Walmart's 3mm contractor-grade bags are made from high-density polyethylene, the same material used in FEMA field liners. Translation: waterproof, tear-resistant, airtight. Each one is a poncho, rain shelter, mattress liner, or water catchment waiting to happen. During the 2010 Haiti earthquake, aid workers used heavy bags to create makeshift tents, body heat reflectors, and even water bladders. A single 42-gallon bag can hold 40 pounds of gear or 5 gallons of water before stress failure. Layer them over broken windows to block drafts. Stuff them with leaves for improvised bedding or lined toilets for sanitary waste disposal, reducing disease risk by up to 90%, per CDC disaster hygiene data. In cold conditions, wrapping your sleeping gear in plastic traps body heat and blocks moisture. In floods, a bag becomes a dry pack or flotation assist. Even debris cleanup becomes tactical when contamination's involved. Seal, tie, isolate. Keep at least 2 rolls. One for shelter and insulation, one for sanitation. Bonus trick: cut open a bag. Tape the edges to create a 6-8 waterproof tarp. The $5 roll from Walmart is worth more than a $100 tent when the storm hits, because plastic doesn't just hold trash, it holds life together. Number 6. Cast iron skillets. If you think cookware doesn't belong in a blackout kit, you're already behind. Well, Walmart's cast iron skillets, from the Ozark Trail line, are the single most bulletproof cooking tools you'll ever own. Forget nonstick. Forget aluminum. Cast iron is survival metallurgy. The U.S. Department of Agriculture confirms that cooking with cast iron can actually increase the iron content of your food by up to 20 times. A lifesaver when you're living on canned beans and rice. But it's not just nutrition, it's durability. You can cook over open flame, propane stoves, charcoal, even hot coals from a backyard fire pit. And when your kitchen's cold and dark, these pans double as radiant heat plates. Retain warmth for hours after use. During the Texas grid collapse of 2021, preppers used cast iron to bake bread, sterilize tools, and even melt snow for clean water. A 12-inch skillet distributes heat evenly across any surface, making it ideal for improvised ovens or solar cookers. Plus, it's indestructible. Drop it, burn it, hit it with a stick, it'll outlast your grandkids. Keep one seasoned with vegetable oil. Store wrapped in a trash bag to prevent rust, and pair it with a lid to convert it into a Dutch oven. Bonus: in a worst-case scenario, it's a weapon. A blunt steel deterrent that doesn't need bullets. Stainless won't survive flames. Aluminum warps. Cast iron thrives. So next Walmart trip, skip the nonstick. Grab the skillet. Because when the power's gone and the grid's dead, the real chefs are the ones cooking over coals. Number 5. Duct tape and Gorilla tape. If you've ever underestimated duct tape, you've never faced real chaos. Walmart's heavy-duty Duct and Gorilla tapes are the closest thing to instant engineering in a roll. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers actually lists duct tape as an essential field material, right next to sandbags and rope. Why? Because its tensile strength exceeds 40 pounds per inch, and its adhesion works even under freezing or damp conditions. In a blackout, that means repair, reinforcement, and containment. Fast. Use it to patch broken window seals, tape doors to retain heat, mend tarps, repair hoses, or even craft splints and wound dressings. with a cloth buffer, of course. During Hurricane Sandy, FEMA documented cases of families using duct tape to seal plastic over broken glass, cutting heat loss by up to 30%. You can also twist it into cordage. 5 strands braided together can tow 200 pounds. Layer it on the bottom of shoes for makeshift insulation or waterproofing. Tape a flashlight to a wall for hands-free work, or seal your food containers to block insects. For tactical use, wrap handles for extra grip or create signal tabs with reflective tape. Pro tip: store a few 10-foot rolls around pens or sticks instead of bulky spools, compact and ready to deploy. This isn't just adhesive, it's structure in a strip. The difference between a leak and a flood, a tear in a tent, a small problem, and a total failure. Don't survive the blackout without it. Tape holds the world together. Literally. Number 4. Propane camping stove. Here's a harsh reality. When the grid collapses, you can't microwave your way through survival. Walmart's propane camping stoves, like the Coleman 2-burner Classic, are the last line between you and cold rations. FEMA estimates over 60% of urban households are heat cooking dependent, meaning once power's gone, their only heat source vanishes. Propane solves that. A single 16-ounce bottle powers a dual burner for 2 hours of full cooking, and it stores indefinitely. No evaporation, no leaks if sealed. During the 2021 Texas freeze, Walmart sold out of propane stoves within 12 hours of blackouts. Why? Because propane burns at 3,500 degrees, providing stable, controllable heat even in freezing conditions, something butane can't match. You can fry, boil, sterilize, melt snow, even bake with metal covers. Add a small fuel adapter, and you can connect 20-pound tanks for weeks of cooking. And the trick few mention? Propane's exhaust is low moisture and cleaner than wood smoke, meaning less carbon buildup inside enclosed areas. Use near ventilation, window cracked or garage door slightly open, and it's perfectly safe. Always keep 2 spare bottles per person, stored upright in a cool place. Pair it with cast iron cookware, and you've got a complete post-grid kitchen. When everything's frozen, when power stations are down and food goes bad, that propane hiss is the sound of life. Forget fancy gadgets. Forget electric grills. One $30 stove from Walmart can mean the difference between eating and starving. Stock it, fuel it, master it. Because when the blackout hits, propane isn't camping gear. It's civilization in a can. Number 3. Battery banks and solar power stations. Here's the problem no one talks about. When the lights die, so does every piece of tech you depend on. Your phone, GPS, radio, all bricks without power. Walmart's battery banks and entry-level solar power stations like the Everstart Jump Starter series or Blackhawk solar packs are the only thing standing between you and digital silence. Don't confuse them with cheap USB packs. These units store between $10,000 and $40,000 mAh, enough to charge a smartphone 10 times or a two-way radio for a week. Add a small fold-out solar panel, and now you've got an endlessly renewable microgrid. During Hurricane Maria, relief workers reported that those with solar charging power banks maintained contact 4 hours longer than those without. Communications were the difference between isolation and rescue. These power banks use lithium polymer cells, which retain 80% of charge after 500 cycles, meaning they'll still work years from now. Pro tip: keep one always topped off and one charging via a Windows solar panel. Rotate them monthly. You can even daisy chain them to power LED lights or run USB fans. It's not luxury, it's digital oxygen. Without power, your flashlight apps, weather alerts, and emergency contacts are gone. A $25 Walmart battery bank can keep your lifeline alive long after the grid dies. And the first 24 hours after a blackout? That's when the cell networks surge. You need juice, not excuses. Charge now or go dark later. Your call. Number 2. Water filtration straw and gravity filters. Let's talk about the most overlooked life or death item in every Walmart survival aisle. Water filters. If you think bottled water will save you, think again. The EPA estimates 90% of U.S. surface water sources are contaminated with microbial or chemical pollutants. And after a blackout, municipal filtration systems shut down within 24 hours. Walmart's LifeStraw Personal Filter or Sawyer Mini filtration system can clean up to 100,000 gallons, removing 99.999% of bacteria, protozoa, and even microplastics. That's not marketing. It's verified by independent lab tests and backed by WHO standards. In real-world terms, a single straw can support one person for over a year if maintained correctly. Pair it with a gravity-fed system and you can supply an entire family indefinitely from rainwater, melted snow, or river sources. During the 2010 cholera outbreak in Haiti, areas with portable filtration had 70% lower infection rates than those relying on bottled imports. Keep one filter per person, plus a backup in a sealed bag with desiccant. Rinse after each. Use, air dry, and store vertically to prevent mold. And here's what most people miss. You can use these filters in line with hydration packs, giving you constant clean water even while moving. Boil when you can, but trust your filter when you must. In survival math, clean water equals time. Every sip unfiltered is a gamble. Walmart sells these for under $20, but in a blackout, they'll be worth more than gold. Because once your tap runs dry, the only law left is hydration, and the one who filters wins. Number 1. Canned protein and ready-to-eat meals. Here's the truth no influencer wants to admit. Without calories, you're done. Walmart shelves are stocked right now with canned proteins, chicken, tuna, Spam, beans, chili. And these are the real foundation of survival. FEMA's Food Preparedness Guide recommends 2,000 calories and 50 grams of protein per day. Yet the average household has only 3 days' worth of shelf-stable food. You can't survive on ramen. You need fat, salt, and dense protein that fuels your body under stress. Walmart's great value canned meats last up to 5 years, require no refrigeration, and retain 95% of original nutrition post-processing. Verified by USDA Food Composition and Database. Pair them with instant rice, lentils, or tortillas, and you've got complete amino acid coverage. Survival Nutrition 101. During the 2003 Northeast blackout, grocery shelves emptied in 6 hours, and resupply took a week. You can't afford to wait. Stock 30 cans per person. Mix chicken, fish, and beans. Rotate them quarterly. Bonus move. Buy a manual can opener. No batteries, no excuses. These cans aren't just food. They're fuel, trade goods, morale boosters. In extended crises, calories become currency. A single can of tuna traded for batteries during the Puerto Rico outages of 2017. Real stories, real value. You don't need a bunker pantry. You need strategic nutrition that fits in a Walmart cart. Because when the grid dies, those aisles will go empty fast. And the people who prepped with protein? They'll still be standing, still cooking, still thinking clearly while the rest fade. Food isn't comfort, it's endurance. Stock it deep, store it dry, and never underestimate the power of a can.